Alrighty, everybody, what is going on? Welcome back to another CyberX Wealth 28 Club Friday podcast. I am your host with my co-host, Mr. Aqua. Really happy to have you guys on today's call. We're going to be diving into, as always, showing you guys the documented proof, the panel discussions, the, weeding out all the noise, the hopium and the hype, and really showing you all that DeFi is being integrated into the core banking system, digital assets like XRP, XLM, so many others, just to name a couple off the top of my head, are being finally integrated and going to be utilized in this new digital system that we are all transitioning into. And here at CyberX in the Wealth 28 Club, we are on a mission to show you guys that that is to be the case, that these institutions are not hiding any of this information. However, the algorithms on the internet have most of this information suppressed, and it's extremely hard to come across some of these documents because of the massive distractions that are out there on social media, especially in the crypto space with all the hopium and the hype. So we set that aside. We pick out the best of the best in terms of documents from the largest institutions. We're going to be showing you guys institutional insights. That's the most important part. Everything that we're going to show you guys in today's call are going to be coming from some of the largest organizations in the game, whether it be from financial institutions, asset managers, payment providers, so on and so forth. So really happy to have you on the call today. Aquaman, what's going on with you, brother?
What is good, brother? Another day, another dollar in crypto, baby.
Dude, let's pick up where we left off because this is gonna I'm never the person. I feel like you're more on the side of the gematria and numerical numbers and whatever the case may, like moon cycles and stuff kind of guy. I feel like you pay attention to that stuff more than I do. But the fact that you said we should type this into gematria and see what pops up, and it did pop up, is just nuts. And it's going to go hand in hand with something that Monica Long said that I will eventually get to in today's call. I'll play a video clip. And this fundamental piece from Ripple that they just put out 2 days ago, talking about institutional DeFi and utilizing RLUSD as collateral. And then I'll play this video breakdown eventually of Cynthia Lowe from Fidelity at the SEC roundtable titled DeFi Meets TradFi from a couple days ago, where she talks about, being able to utilize stablecoins as collateral, like literally word for word, exactly what Ripple's on the cusp of doing. So yeah, there's so much juice today. So let's jump into this one. Did you want to read this document, Aqua, or do you want me to read it, bro? I mean, I know you have it. I sent it to you.
Yeah. So it says the BIS is not just studying DeFi, they're actively building the next financial system with it. And Ripple is right in the middle of it. The BIS confirms Ripple is working directly with the Central Bank of Colombia to issue a wholesale CBDC and tokenize government bonds on the blockchain. This isn't theory, it's real pilots, real institutions, real transformation. Ripple's role is providing the infrastructure to tokenize and settle assets instantly between banks and financial entities. The BIS is laying the foundation for a world where tokenized money, tokenized assets, and DeFi architecture run the global economy, and Ripple is building the pipes, baby. This is, massive. Massive.
It is massive, bro, because I have so much juice right now to show people that this is for a fact happening. Let me throw this one in there as well. I might as well while we're here, but yo, check this. All right, so let's open this and read it because this is from this year. This is from April 2025, right? So if we go thoroughly through this, just to read the highlights, it says, as a part of this agenda, BenRep, in collaboration with the Ministry of Information Technology and Communications, Ripple and Peersys, keep in mind, Peersys is the company, the organization building out the EVM sidechain for the XRPL, where they're going to be utilizing XLR for gas fees, is conducting an experiment to issue WCBDC and tokenized securities based on distributed ledger technology. And it talks about what it involves and the prototype and the test environment, simulated participants, right? I don't want to bore anybody to death. But, it's just a standing confirmation where it says here, Ripple's technology establishes a trust line with central banks, creation wallet. This process, verified by network consensus, is reported to all nodes, enabling CBDC transfers to the new wallet. The tokenized version of a Colombian government security must include specific attributes such as the bond name, ISIN code, interest rate, coupon frequency, So just again, confirmation that, Ripple's at the forefront of this transformation, and it gives you a whole entire infographic of what this is going to look like. But then this is the crazier part, because the BIS also put this document out recently. Let me just look at the date. Literally the same month. All right, so check this out. So, by the way, yeah, this is crazy. Again, Aqua's more the gematria kind of guy where he pays attention to this stuff. So we were talking offline, and he paid attention to this. So, Aqua, I'm going to pull up this post if you want to go through and read it. So I'm not taking over the call, but just read what I wrote, and then I'll read the highlights of the document. Hold on real quick.
Yeah.
All right, so let me zoom in so you can see it.
Yeah, so it says here, the BIS flat out tells you liquidity pools will be a part of the future financial system. In their official 2025 report, which was April, it said, they describe how central banks like Brazil's Drex system will use liquidity pools to trade tokenized CBDCs, government bonds, stocks, and issue loans. Smart contracts, liquidity pools, automated settlement. Exactly what DeFi built, now absorbed into the foundation of traditional finance. If you don't study DeFi now, you will be forced to learn it later when the whole system demands it. DeFi is not an alternative finance anymore. It's becoming finance. Man, well said, bro. Well said.
Yeah, I feel like people sleep on the stuff that we put out, man, in terms of information. Like the documented researchers, you can't compete with info like this if you're really tapped in, you know?
Hey, real talk, if you read this stuff, like I know it's not an easy dopamine hit just to view it and kind of scroll through it, but if you get in there and you start reading it, the dopamine hit comes with like seeing this stuff, right? Am I tripping or what?
No, just read. I support that theory 110%, bro. I feel like I get more excited about the longevity of this space than I do the instant gratification from short-term price appreciation. Like, I see people all the time, even today, man, like Ripple going up, I don't know, or XRP going up 0.5% or whatever traded at today. People are like, XRP's pumping. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, who cares about that stuff? Do you know what's happening? Do you know what's going to happen over the next 5 to 10 years? Whatever happens today is nothing. It's absolutely nothing.
Facts, bro. Facts.
So anyways, check this out. Back on topic. So April 2025, this is the paper, Consultative Group on Innovation in the Digital Economy, Leveraging Tokenization for Payments and Financial Transactions, April 2025. And they used this character, this make-believe character, Alice. So here in 3.1 theoretical use cases, it says, let's consider Alice's journey in a theoretical. I love that they hyphen or whatever, theoretical, because they got to tell people, oh, it's not real yet. It's like,
yeah.
So it talks about integrating tokenization into the financial system. And in this system, all the supported benefits of tokenization are realized, from converting her traditional bank balance into digital tokens to purchasing government bonds, trading them for stocks, and finally to use those stocks as collateral for a loan. Alice experiences a financial ecosystem that is user-centric, efficient, and secure. Such infrastructures not only benefit Alice, but also enhance the operational efficiency and services offerings of banks and loan agents or any other institution. The IUL exemplifies how tokenization could improve financial markets, making them more accessible, transparent, and efficient for all participants. And then it talks about government bonds being issued through a series of liquidity pools and smart contracts, right? And as we continue, it says and mentions those keywords again, and the user benefits equate to direct control over her assets, i.e., that's DeFi, instantaneous transfers, low transfer costs, and enhanced transparency, right? And then last but not least, it says, for Alice, she is able to make instantaneous, programmable, and less costly transactions, and she can manage her digital assets directly with transparency and immutability. Then it mentions diverse financial products and services directly through her app, which is going to be important once we get into, World Liberty Finance and the gentleman, Zach, that Aqua just mentioned to you guys. And they're able to purchase, small fractions of assets. That is huge. Overall, it says they have incentives to participate and develop innovative products, given attractive risk-adjusted returns from loans. Overall, tokenization, as described in the theoretical scenario, could bring tangible benefits and positive externalities to deposits and bond markets. It increases the efficiency of settlement processes and enables financial ownership, facilitating the creation and access to a new financial product. In addition, it lowers barriers to entry and increase competition. So, to sum this up, we went all the way back to the first part where it talks about Alice's journey. It says Alice journey, right? Right there, Alice journey. So keep in mind in the previous document where they're openly saying that it's Ripple's technology establishing this trust line for central banks right here in the same month, April 2025, you go and put Alice journey into Gematria and the Gematria calculator. This blew my mind. And if you scroll right down here, it says XRP, XLM, XDC. I don't even know.
Oh, and then right above it, it says it's happening. Oh shit.
Like I personally, bro, if I'm being honest, don't follow this stuff like most people do. So, you know, as much as this excites me, I still gravitate towards documented proof. But the facts that the documented proof that I found say that it's Ripple providing the system, and then they talk about Alice. Like, think about that, bro. They could have chose any freaking name on the planet, bro. And then hold on, it goes even crazier than that, because where does the name Alice stem from? Alice in Wonderland, right? And this whole transformation that she goes through in this world that is more rectified for her and her mind and whatnot. Like, come on now. I just don't believe in coincidences. So although I don't necessarily gravitate towards the gematria and riddle side of this crypto space, I still firmly believe that it's cryptographic. It was created to, it's cryptography, right? That's where it kind of like stemmed from. And so, these things are not they're not by accident.
Yeah, and cryptography is riddles, you know what I mean? And if you think about it, this was brought to my attention yesterday, watching a video from what's his name, not financial advice, but like the Bible even speaks in parables, which is aka a riddle, you know what I mean? So it goes deep. Like, this riddles go back thousands of years, if not millions. So yeah, that's just my opinion though. But
yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. And then to wrap this all up, to put a icing on the cake, I found this document. Let me pull it up over here. I found this document that the researchers shared from January 2025 from the Digital Currency Global Initiative. What the heck? From the International Telecommunication Union, bro.
That's January of this year too.
So, the CyberX researchers, they be finding the craziest stuff. And so I have this post that's scheduled to come out. It hasn't been dropped yet. It's going to drop in a couple of days. But I said here, everyone's focused on programmable payments and privacy tiers and CBDCs. But the craziest part of the international CBDC reference architecture is that it's quietly integrating decentralized finance, i.e. DeFi, into the backend system. The ITU-backed architecture openly, by the way, let me again read that for you guys right here. This is the International Telecommunications Union. I have a firm belief that they're pretty freaking important, right? It says the ITU-backed architecture openly explores how central banks could interact with DeFi protocols and smart contracts, and even adopt platform governance via blockchain networks. While some still think DeFi is rogue, the regulators and the technocrats are already designing DeFi-compatible CBDCs under the hood. This is the real financial infrastructure shift, and it's being architected quietly. And then, if you go into this document, bro, it's super trippy. Like, so look at this infographic that they have here, bro. Oh, shit. All right, let me just go over to the actual document.
Yo, they got DEX aggregators and
yeah, exactly. Yep, exactly. You're bro. See, we're on the same page. You see how Aqua just picked up on those key vocabulary words? That's beautiful. Hold on, let me find it. All right, check it out. Here it is. So this is from that same document, right? And here it talks about DeFi compositions, DEX aggregators, yield aggregators, which here in this private community in the Wealth 28 Club, we have been on a yield aggregation platform for like a year and some change now, just printing, bro. Printing. Talks about the DLT application layer, decentralized exchanges, derivatives protocols, lending protocols, crypto assets, fungible tokens, all in the DeFi stack reference. And then this DeFi stack reference, it goes even deeper than that, because in this post, it talks about the ASAP structure components. It's this ASAP model that they're building for the CBDC system. And long story short, this is what they're integrating. So let me just, it's section 7-4, and they mentioned decentralized finance. So let me Command F this real quick to save time. 7.4. Let's go in. Here it is right here. All right. So it says, as mentioned above, DeFi refers to financial applications run by self-executing code, referred to as smart contracts and distributed ledgers or blockchain technologies. DeFi protocols also operate across multiple layers of the ASAP model, and they leverage the settlement layer to reach agreement on the global state of digital asset systems. DeFi services are described by the, I'm not going to butcher that word right there, as spanning at least 2 distinct layers of the ASAP model, where crypto assets correspond to the asset layer in DeFi protocols and compositions, combined to provide decentralized financial services to users at the access layer. This is, yeah, this is nuts, bro. This is 110% confirmation that they're preparing for this freaking transformation. And this is coming from the ITU.
And you know what's so wild too is that yesterday on the DeFi Zoom call that I run every Thursday for the club members, I was showing them, you know, where I'm putting some of my rewards, which was an NFT that sits on the XRPL fuzzy. And they just told us in that graph that non-fungible tokens are going to be a major player in DeFi. And that's exactly what I was telling, you know, the club members, that these things are going to be worth money, that's going to be liquidity, and we'll be able to earn yield. There's going to be NFT liquidity pools. There's going to be NFT vaults. I mean, those NFTs that we see over on Ethereum right now, the Bored Ape Club, they go for $50, $60, $70, $80,000. So these NFTs are playing a major role in the future and the now.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And too, like for legal documents and binding contracts and all these things, like, you know, even in terms of like signing a lease for rent for your apartment, or, you know, if you're a renter for where you stay at, where you live, or even just mortgages, bro, or car loans, or all that kinds of stuff. But it's all going to be on smart contracts in the future. 100. And smart contracts with NFTs, you know. Didn't you, since you mentioned Fuzzy Bear, didn't you say something again in relation to like Gematria or whatever, that there was like some wallet that Ripple opened on a date that it equaled to 589, and then the settlement, the case that just recently settled on 589 or whatever it was, and then Fuzzy Bear, the wallet, was created on the same date, 589? Didn't you say something like that?
Yeah. So like when you go to the Fuzzy Bear, because there's 2 things on a Fuzzy Bear. There's a Fuzzy Bear NFT. Yeah. Hold on. Let me see here. Let me pull this shit up real quick here.
So that, yeah, we can pull it up. That'd be cool, bro, if we could pull that up.
Yeah. Hold on one second.
Because that blew my mind.
Yeah, because they got the hyperlinks here on Fuzzy Bear on their website, which is just absolutely mind blowing. And what blows my mind when I go to these hyperlinks and I go, you know, where it tells you the date 2013 and the transaction back in 2013, like, let me just ask you, you know, your experience in DeFi, you usually have like some hiccups where you got to redo the transaction. Let's face it, DeFi is not exactly smooth. And that's why, you know, the ones that educate, get in, you're rewarded right now. But think about, if it's smooth right now and it's kind of choppy right now, what do you think the tech was looking like back in 2013? So for somebody to get a perfect timestamp at a certain time back in 2013, me logically understanding just transactions in DeFi, I'm just like, how can somebody do something like that? Right. So let me pull up the,
it had to be planned 110%.
100%
is what you're saying. And I agree that kind of goes back full circle to what we just showed you guys. Like, as you know, as unrealistic as it seems when you start to incorporate like the gematria speculation aspect of it, it's almost like there's too many coincidences for them to be coincidences. It's like one or two things, okay, you can kind of like chuck that off the coincidence. But when it's like 100 things and it's the same every time, it's like you can only deny it so much, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. That's exactly where my mind is at. And yeah, so check this out. So this is the Fuzzy Bear website, right? And I encourage everybody come check this out, because this, when you come and check it out yourself, it's like just mind blowing, because it's like it's not a magic trick. This is real, right? So it says here about Fuzzy, and it says here on 1/1/2013 at 3:21:10 UTC time, right? Which 321, if you know, that goes along with Bearable Guy 123. A lot of people are tapped into those riddles. Again, shout out Not Financial Advice. He decodes those riddles like nobody else. And it's absolutely mind blowing. But to come across this fuzzy stuff and to, see the correlation with like 321, and then when you click this hyperlink, it takes you to chain, to BitHump, right? Right here on the XRPL. And it tells us, so check this out. This is again exactly what it says. 1/1/2013 at 3:21. This wallet was activated, right? And then it doesn't stop there. Like they were doing other things as well. So like I don't think like this is where another part of my mind is like, did somebody know about meme coins back in 2013? Because I don't know too many people who even really knew about crypto, let alone a meme coin back in 2013. You know what I mean? So check this out. This is again on the XRP Explorer. You click that hyperlink, 2013, 5 million XRP was activated in this wallet, right? And you can go through these transactions. They're pretty wild. There's some people that
Are you clicking on the link right now? Are you still sharing the Fuzzy Bear screen, or are you?
Yeah. Or wait. You guys can't see the like when I go to the next screen?
No, we're still seeing the About Fuzzy page.
Okay, hold on. Let me show you guys what I was showing you guys over here. Hold on one second. That's whack. I totally forgot that I got to stop sharing, resharing, and all that stuff. My bad, guys. Hold on.
For anybody that's listening, for the record, Fuzzy Bears are an NFT built on the XRPL, if I'm correct.
It's
right?
an NFT and a meme coin. So you can buy the asset meme, on the XRPL, or you can get NFTs, which again is like, digital art that's definitely going to play a massive role in DeFi. But yeah. So this is when the Ripple wallet was activated. Or wait, hold on. All right, so check this out. You guys can see this screen now, right? So you guys can see the nickname of this wallet is OpenCoin.1. And I wasn't around because, I came to crypto late 2022, 2023, right? But from what I understand, Ripple used to be called OpenCoin, right? Is that correct? But anyways, nickname OpenCoin 1/1/2013 at 3:21, right? So there's the timestamp right here on chain. You guys can see it, right? Which is again 321 goes back to the Bearable Guy 123 and all those riddles, right? But then check this out. So hold on, let me stop sharing my screen and then reshare my screen. So this is like the craziest part, because how did somebody know about Fuzzy Bear back in 2013, which is just mind blowing. So hold on.
To confirm what you said a second ago, yes, Ripple rebranded to OpenCoin, or sorry, from OpenCoin they rebranded to Ripple.
Rebranded to Ripple. Okay.
Yeah, this was in 20. So it says here, Ripple Labs Inc. is an American technology company which offers. Hold on, let me share so that way people don't think I don't like it when people don't think that we can just always prove stuff. Always prove stuff. Verification is everything. Ripple Labs Inc. is an American technology company which offers enterprise blockchain products on the XRP Ledger and other networks, originally named OpenCoin. So just what Aqua said, just because he was confused, that's now confirmed. So anyways, back to what you were saying, Aqua, sorry.
Yeah, no problem, bro. So then check this out. So then this is the wallet that was created, named Fuzzy Bear. As you guys can see, Fuzzy Bear. And again, another 321 date. So 2013 221, 321, and then at 2323, and you see the name Fuzzy Bear. And then what's so crazy is that one of the trades that this wallet did is it basically said 1 XRP for 1 Bitcoin. And I don't know exactly what that means. Hold on, let me just bring that one up though too real quick. But we know how much Bitcoin is worth, right? I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying this is what it means type of thing, but just to see this on chain, let me share with you guys, like, what do you guys make out of this? Because this is mind blowing to me. You know what I mean? So yeah, right here, the transaction details. Taker gets 1 XRP, Taker pays 1 BTC. Like, I don't know exactly what that means. Are you saying like there's a comparable in price or what? But again, this was on chain. You know what I mean? 11 years ago. So 1/1/2014. Cool stuff to come and check out. I don't know another meme coin that has all these hyperlinks that you guys can come and check out like this stuff that happened on chain back in 2013. You know, I tap into some of that Bearable Guy 123 stuff just because, you know, I see a correlation with like riddles in the movies and like riddles in The Simpsons and just like other life stuff, right? That like there's so many coincidences with this Bearable Guy 123 and all those riddles and what has happened, what has come, that, you know, I can't turn away from this type of stuff. You know what I mean? So I tap in, not financial advice. You know what I mean? Who knows what's going to happen with these NFTs and with these assets, but pretty interesting stuff. And if you tap into that stuff, it's worth checking out, in my opinion.
So to close out that whole entire rabbit hole that we just took you guys down, starting from, because when we started the rabbit hole, we had 200 people on the call, and now we have 900. So it's a full circle, so nobody's confused. We showed 2 supportive documents from the Bank of International Settlements from April 2025, right? I mean, you guys can see the dates. I share all this information on the the Twitter space, X, whatever you want to call it, right? All of this info is the shared research that we tap into in the CyberX Discord via the CyberX research team. BIS Consultative Group on Innovation and Digital Economy, April 2025. And in this document, they go on to talk about how, you know, as a part of this agenda in collaboration with the Ministry of Information Technology and Communications, Ripple and PeerSys and BenRep are experimenting to issue a wrap CBDC and tokenized securities based on distributed ledger technology. And it just talks about, it confirms how Ripple's technology is going to be established as a trust line within the central bank, their creation wallet, it says here. So then at the same month, they dropped this document where it talks about Alice's journey, this made up character, this theoretical character, where she's pretty much utilizing her regular traditional banking application on her mobile device, but built out on DeFi rails, right? Come on now, you can't make this stuff up. And then Aqua, when we were talking about this stuff offline, and I was like, yo, this is what I'm going to show to everybody today. Aqua, being like the dude that's tapped into the gematria side of things, is like, bro, let's put in Alice's journey into the gematria calculator. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And then this like, there's no coincidences. So when we typed in, you know, look up right here, it says Alice journey, which is the theoretical character. And it's not like we're taking the word journey and making that up. Like, it literally says in the document right here, it says Alice's journey. But in gematria, you can't put an apostrophe or anything like that, or, you know,
exactly,
so on and so forth. So you got to take that out. It just becomes Alice journey. And when you put that into freaking gematria, this blew my mind, bro. This, I mean, even though I don't, you know, I don't really follow this stuff, but the fact that it says it's happening and then right underneath of it, XRP, XLM, XDC, bro.
Yeah. This type of stuff is no coincidence, bro. It's no coincidence.
And I'm going to be honest with you, you know, as many gematria, you know, moon cycle people, influencers are on the internet, I feel like we just did a pretty damn good, like, find. Like, that was clutch.
Yeah, we passed the rock to somebody else who's in it deeper, I'm sure, and they'll take it and probably find some more stuff. But yeah, I mean, there's no coincidences, and, you know, numerology runs deep. You know, this is the matrix, baby. So it's all connected.
Then we finished it off with this document from the International Telecommunications Union, where they go on to talk about how they're integrating DeFi, DEXs, yield aggregation platforms into the, you know, into the infrastructure. And it talks about NFTs in this document. And then to kind of full circle that with the NFT spiel that Aqua just gave about the Fuzzy Bear and how it's an NFT collection on the XRPL, including a meme coin. And then way back in the day, back in 2013, when DeFi was not even on the minds of peoples that aren't, you know, I mean, intellectually inclined people that build out the systems, they were thinking about DeFi, but not your everyday average person. And Aqua was talking about how difficult it is to just like operate in the DeFi ecosystem right now. And so to time a transaction and make the transaction cost a certain amount on a specific day back in 2013 was pretty damn difficult. So
100.
it had to have been planned because it all, you can go ahead and take that spiel away. Well, I don't really know like what it all equates to. What it all equals like 589 and goes back to the bearable bull 123, or what is it? Bearable guy 123.
Bearable guy 123. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, these are the NFTs too. Let me just share the screen because I didn't share this part real quick here. Let me just share it, everybody. These are the Fuzzy Bear NFTs, right? You know, I copped a couple. I just connect my Zayman wallet and I copped a couple, but there's only 3,210 of these. So again, 321, right? If you look at other NFTs, like on Ethereum, for example, you got the Bored Ape, and those NFTs go for 60, 70, 80, 90,000. And, you know, we already see the prices here. I think this is probably one of the most expensive NFTs at the moment on the XRPL. But, you know, not financial advice, definitely worth coming and taking a look at these NFTs because, you know, it's going to be liquid and there's going to be yield opportunity in the future. I can only imagine, you know, what's being built right now behind the scenes. But there's still a lot that needs to be built on the XRPL, you know, that other chains have that we don't have yet. You know what I mean? But, you know, we got NFTs finally. I don't know exactly when XRP.cafe came to fruition. It might have been like, what, 2 years ago, maybe, or something like that. I forget. But yeah, this is, and this goes hand in hand with the Fuzzy Bear meme coin, which you can go to the Fuzzy Bear website from here and go and check out what they got going on. But again, there's not a meme coin out there that I've come across that has anything near what this Fuzzy Bear consists of, from like the website and, you know, the hyperlinks that take you to the transactions back in 2013, which I was just thinking too, 13 plays a major role as well with Ripple. A lot of 13 dates news was released, and I know a lot of people here can confirm on 13 dates, you know, a lot of times with Ripple, the news was released, you know what I mean? So it's just like another coincidence, 13 being that magic number. But yeah, these are the NFTs. Definitely go check this stuff out on your guys' own, guys, because like this is all here. You know, I'm just clicking away and showing. You guys can come and click yourselves and come and read it yourselves and maybe find something that I didn't find. You know what I mean? So
what's the most expensive NFT there in terms of price value?
Oh, let me show you real quick. This is actually going to be fun. Actually, I should have shared that. That's a good question. Hold on. Let me share it with you guys. So as you go down, the price goes up. So let me just scroll all the way down to the bottom here where the prices stop. But it seems to me like the Bearable Guy 123 account has made a lot of riddles with pictures. And this bear being part of that picture, part of that photograph in all of the riddles, right? The bear is always there. And it seems like the artwork that was in the original Bearable Guy 123, the closer you get to this NFT being the original artwork is like, it makes it worth even more. Like these hats right here are like the original. So like once we start getting into higher prices, now these hats. So like the prices are based on the rarity of this NFT, and you can click on it and see all the different rarity and what makes it rare. But a lot of this stuff though, too, just to give you guys some more food for thought for those that don't know, a lot of these costumes that the bear is wearing are costumes or different clothing items that David Schwartz has worn. That he's posted on his X account, right? So it's like a combination of David Schwartz and a combination of Bearable Guy 123, right? But when we get down to the bottom, because that's what I wanted to show you guys, that's what Cypress asked, what's the most expensive? Let me scroll down here. Let me see here. It's pretty wild. I think it's like 589,000 or something like that. So like now we're in the 100,000s. 321,000 XRP. And 589,000 XRP. Let's see here. And this one right here, 5.8 million, but 589 and then 985, right? But this artwork right here is like some of the original artwork. This is like as original as it gets, like really out of all of them. And the number of this Fuzzy Bear, because they're all numbered, is 589. So 5.89 million XRP. you know, in my opinion, once these things, you know, really go live and there's liquidity, you know, providing opportunities with these NFTs, I really feel like once the XRP community really starts catching wind of this fuzzy bear and they start seeing the correlation, like there's only 3,121 of these things, you know what I mean? And with the Bored Ape Club, there's like 20,000 of those bad boys and they're going for 80 racks. You know what I mean? So like, again, not financial advice, guys. This is just where my mind is at. But as you guys can see, 5.89 million XRP, this one is for sale right now. So yeah.
Yeah, we just went down a crazy rabbit hole. Honestly, that was such a good choice to start the call off today like that. Like, what a freaking epic video that was for anybody that cares. You know, like at the end of this stuff, it's not the normal stuff, right? The bullish Minboy hopium and hype, but you know, it would behoove a lot of us in this space to come to terms with what's really happening and the transformative wave that these new technologies are really doing to the back end financial system if we want to last long term. And we have a firm belief in that. So, you know, that portion of today's call was really freaking great to wrap that portion up and continue to transition onto what Aqua said. Because he's talked about generating yield, and these NFTs are going to be able to do things, especially generate you yield to some degree. And if not, then the digital asset XRP is. So we're going to transition over to that. I have more documents to share with you guys, more confirmation, more proof that this is all happening. For those 1,000 people that are tapped in right now, do us a favor. If you're watching this as a recording, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe. Make sure that you guys go and follow Aqua on his social media platforms, both on all three. Actually, you have a TikTok as well. So he's on TikTok, he's on YouTube, and he's also on X. So make sure you guys go follow all his platforms. He's always putting out good gems, good content, good DeFi primitives that are taking place in this space, talking about different protocols and showing people how he's putting his digital assets to work, which I think is really great. The space needs more education.